Leaving the creative economy and talking about essential workers for a moment, I mean, it has to be one of the most extraordinary misnomers of the pandemic. The people that, in principle, we truly rely on in the front lines, who have the least flexibility in terms of how they work, when they work, whether they work, and are also completely not remunerated as if that work is essential to the way we live our lives. Do you see us doing anything about that?
I don't know. I think this is a moment where we ought to be rethinking our national policy on essential work. I think about hazard pay and how much that's been a norm in dangerous occupations for decades. Well, where was hazard pay for all the teachers, for all the medical professionals, for all the warehouse workers who put their lives at risk to keep the world running and to try to keep the economy alive as well? I think we need a conversation about that. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'd sure welcome it.
Do you think principal takeaway from the pandemic in terms of workplace is actually more inequality of opportunity?
I'm afraid that you might be right. I think the amount of opportunity net is going up, but I don't think it's going to be distributed evenly. And I think that the people who have flexibility, to your point, the knowledge workers, the creative workers, the people doing sort of white collar or high-end professional services are going to be the ones who benefit from most of that flexibility and opportunity. And that could probably, in some cases, will amplify the divisions that already exist in our radically unequal world.
Do you think that the Protestant work ethic, such as it has been, sort of mythologized in the West, is something we actively need to get rid of? Do human beings, in your view, need to be seeking so much purpose in their employment?
I mean, we're an outlier on the world stage when it comes to the primacy of work in our lives. And I think we do it at our own peril. I think we're just seeing extraordinary levels of burnout in workplaces across the US. We're seeing some people burn out because they're being forced to work extraordinary hours or face unreasonable demands by their employers. We're seeing other people burn out because they are workaholics, not the healthy, engaged kind, but the chronic, compulsive kind where you feel guilty if you're not working and you're stressed that you're going to fall behind or lose your job. And over time, we know that undermines the quality of work you do. And I think that just expecting people to be engaged in the job if they don't have quality of life feels like something you would have expected maybe half a century ago. I think we're confusing the number of hours you work with the importance and quality of work that you do. I don't know. I mean, empirically, if you look at the data, I don't know that many people who can focus and do their best work more than 5 to 6 hours a day. And even those who can, right, you start to see their productivity trail off. You start to see them make more errors. The data on physicians are terrifying on this, right? Where we see that if you work an 80 or 90 hour week, often your error rate will double or triple. And we're talking about medical errors. You could amputate the wrong leg. You could give someone a drug that's supposed to save their lives and they're allergic to it. And if we drop people down to working 60, 65, 55 hours a week, that error rate plummets.
There's plenty of talk about people having burnout, Zoom burnout, sick of remote burnout, lockdown burnout. You write about something else. You say that the real problem is that people are languishing in their jobs. What did you mean by that?
I've never seen people more excited to talk about their lack of excitement. Languishing is a term that was coined by a sociologist, which captures the void right in between depression and flourishing. It's basically the absence of well-being. So you feel like you have a sense of emptiness and stagnation. You're not burned out because you still have energy. You're not depressed because you still have hope. You just feel a little bit joyless and a little bit aimless. And I think a lot of us have been languishing because the world around us is standing still. That's the bad news. I think the good news is that the opposite of languishing is progress. There's evidence that the single biggest driver of daily energy and joy is just a sense of forward movement. It doesn't have to be a big triumph. It could be a small win. And just a little moment of mastery, a jolt of connection, even just a sense that I helped one person today seems to help people move from languishing toward flourishing. And I think we could all use more of those moments right now.